All right, so here we are in unit number 5, practice test part 2, and we are on question number 3. Question 3 says oxalic acid. Oh, sorry, I gotta start my timer here real quick. Oxalic acid is used in paints. A sample of oxalic acid has 1.94 grams of carbon, 0.160 grams of hydrogen, 5.16 grams of oxygen. The molecular mass is 90 grams per mole. We're going to use that here in a few moments. Determine the empirical formula and the molecular formula of this compound. So we're going to need to find both of those. So first, as we did with finding the empirical formula from the previous example, let's start with carbon. Carbon, we have 1.94 grams of carbon. And from the periodic table, we see that the molar mass of carbon is about 12 grams per 1 mole, which gives us a mole ratio of 0.162 moles of carbon. I'm going to move through this a little bit quickly just for the sake of time. Hydrogen, we have 0.16 grams of hydrogen. Our molar mass of hydrogen is 1.01 grams per 1 mole. So it's 0.16 moles of hydrogen. And finally, we get to oxygen. Oxygen, we have 5.16 grams of oxygen. Molar mass of oxygen is 16 grams for 1 mole. It's going to give us a mole ratio of 0.3225 moles of oxygen. So to find our mole ratio for each one of these, we want to divide them by the smallest number. And in this case, we're going to go ahead and divide it by 0.16. 0.16 divided by 0.16. And when we do that, we see that we end up with 1, 1, and 2 for each one of those compounds. So what that means then is our empirical formula is a ratio of carbon to hydrogen to oxygen of 1 to 1 to 2. So we have CHO2. That's our empirical formula. Now, in order to find our molecular formula, we need to go back to what we found from our molar mass up here. So let's find the molar mass of our empirical formula. We know we have 1 carbon, which is mass of about 12, 1 hydrogen, its mass is 1, and 2 oxygen, which is 16, 2 times 16. We add all of those up, and it works out to about 45 grams per mole. The molar mass is given to us as 90. So we'll take 90 grams per mole, divide that by the molar mass of our empirical formula, which is 45 grams per mole, and we see we end up with a multiplier or a ratio of 2. So to find our molecular formula, we simply take 2 and multiply that all the way across from our empirical formula. So we'll end up with C2H2O4. And as always, I hope that helps. Please, if you have any questions, please let me know.